Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing a step-by-step beginner's guide to creating a t-shirt using your Cricut machine and heat transfer vinyl or iron-on vinyl, and I am using my Cricut Easy Press 2 machine. This is a great first project if you just recently purchased a Cricut. If you are new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribed. I share all kinds of Cricut and crafting tutorials. I'm in Cricut Design Space and I am going to upload my image for my t-shirt. I'll click on upload. I found an image off of Etsy. There's also images in Cricut Design Space. So you can find them here or you can find them online. I'm going to click on upload image and browse. When I purchased this from Etsy, I downloaded it and it went to my downloads folder. The file type that works the best for Cricut is SVGs, so that is something that you want to look for. And after purchasing this, you can see it has 3 different file types and I am going to select the SVG one. I'll just hit upload and then I'll select this and add it to the canvas. What helps me the most when working with images in Cricut is the layers panel. In here, you can see all the different layers. A lot of SVGs only have 1 or just a few layers. This one has a ton, so it kind of depends on how that person put together the SVG. And this one, it has basically everything separated. So if you were to click on Make It, it'll have it all like jumbled up on the mat here, which is what you do not want to do. So I'm gonna hit cancel. You'll want it to show up like this so you don't have to piece any of it together. So what you can do in Cricut Design Space is you can attach it, which would work, or you can come over to Combine. Cricut used to just have the weld option and now they have all these other options. You can weld it together, but I like to click Unite because you can always go back and undo it after saving your project. For weld, you cannot go back and undo it. So I like this new feature, and let's say I want to go back and change something with it, I would be able to do that. So I'm going to select Unite. You can still see all the layers here, but now at the top it says Unite. And once again, you can also select the Attach button as well. Now I want to size this. I've actually created a guide for sizing and you can find the free printable in my description box for that, but I'll click on it here. For adult small, I have 9 to 10 inches and I like to measure with going off of the width. So I'm just going to go up to my width and I'm going to try 9 inches and it'll automatically adjust and show that it is 3.669 for the height. I'm using a purple vinyl, so you could come up here and change the color to purple, but that's really only important if you're using multiple colors for vinyl. And I also can do a beginner's guide to layering heat transfer vinyl on a shirt. Let me know if you want to see that as well. I have a video on my channel, but it's from a couple years ago, so I feel like I need to do an updated one. I'll just leave this purple even though I could keep it with the black color, and I'll click Make It. I'm using a Cricut Maker 3, so that's why this screen is popping up, and I am going to select on a mat and hit confirm. My vinyl size is 12 by 12, so I'll keep it at that. And when you're using heat transfer vinyl or iron-on, you'll want to mirror your design. Don't forget this step, it's very important. And I'll click continue. I did not know this for quite a while when I first started with my Cricut, but iron-on vinyl is what Cricut brand is. They call it iron-on vinyl. Everything else is heat transfer vinyl. So they're basically the same thing, just different brands. I'm using Caesar heat transfer vinyl, which is not iron-on, but this is the best setting to use for that. Cricut does have a heat transfer vinyl. It says heat transfer non-Cricut. For some really weird reason, it does not work at all. So do not select that one. What you'll want to select is everyday iron-on. On here, it'll say make sure mirror is turned on, which we have that turned on. You can see right here. And it says iron-on material is face shiny side down. It also shows us what tool to use, which is the fine point blade. Now I'll show you on the Cricut how I cut this out. You can see that this is the shiny side, and when I turn it around, this is the more matte side. So I'm placing the shiny side down on my mat. I just place it in the upper left-hand corner. I like to use the off-brand Nikapa mats. These are a little cheaper than the Cricut mats, and they work pretty much the same. When loading your Cricut mat into the machine, you want to place it underneath those two outer white grooves. Then press the blinking arrow to load your mat. After that, the start button will start blinking, so press that and your Cricut will start cutting out the design. Like I said earlier, I'm using Caesar brand heat transfer vinyl. I have used their vinyl for years. I love it. It feels so thin on the shirt and it's just really great quality. Once it's done, press the blinking arrows to unload the mat. My favorite way to remove the vinyl is bend your mat backwards and you're bending the actual mat instead of the vinyl. I cut out around my design and I just saved the vinyl that wasn't used in with all my scrap vinyl. Here's the shiny side, and now I'm ready to weed. So I turn it around and I weed out the excess vinyl from that matte side. Heat transfer vinyl is so much easier to weed compared to adhesive vinyl, so you can kind of just start pulling it all off. Then I start weeding the inside of the letters. I'm using a Bella canvas shirt. These are so soft and they actually sell it at Michael's now, so that's where I picked it up. I checked to see what the fabric is made out of and it is 100% cotton, so that helps me figure out my heat setting. I'm using my Cricut Easy Press 2 machine, and here is my Cricut mat. You want a mat to press your material into. You can use a towel, but I recommend eventually purchasing a mat because it just works really well. I set my Easy Press to 315 degrees at 30 seconds. I used Cricut's heat guide to find what to set it to. I will just put that on the screen here to see how I did that. I'm using these acrylic t-shirt guides to figure out where to center my design. These are a huge game changer. I am horrible at eyeballing, lining things up, and then I end up ruining my shirt and vinyl. I bought these off Amazon and they were around $7. I'll link it in the description box, and it has all different types depending on what you're putting it on and what size shirt and all of that. To find the center of the shirt, you can't always look at the collar or the tag, so this is what I've been doing for years and it works so well. I fold my shirt in half and I like to make sure the armpits are lined up. For some reason that really helps. This shirt was so wrinkled, so it took me a minute of playing around with it. But once it's lined up, I grab my Easy Press and I run it over the shirt. This does two things. It will preheat the shirt, which is what you want to do. Cricut recommends doing that for 5 seconds, but it'll also create a crease right down the center of the shirt. Now I can add my t-shirt guide. I place the center with the arrows right over that line. To find the center of the vinyl, I like to do it this way. I fold it and create a crease at the top. Don't fold the two sticky sides together. Then I place that crease right on that line. You could also skip that step, and since my design is 9 inches, I can line the ends up with the 4.5 inch mark on my acrylic. I don't want it to be crooked, so I align the top of my vinyl with the bottom part of the acrylic. So now we know it's 2 inches down. It's in the center and it's not crooked. I'm ready to press my design, so I add a Teflon sheet on top of the design and place my heat press over that. Then I'll hit the green Cricut sign and it'll start counting down. If you don't have a Teflon sheet, you can use parchment paper, and with just one sheet of vinyl, you really don't need the Teflon sheet or parchment paper, but I kind of just get into the habit of using it all the time. You don't need to move your heat press around at all. You'll want to use firm pressure, which I did not do, so I end up having to reheat it a little bit. But as long as you use firm pressure, you should be fine. If you have the smaller Cricut Easy Press, then you'll have to press one side first for the full 30 seconds. Then you'll kind of move over to the other part that it didn't cover and press that for 30 seconds. Cricut recommends turning your shirt over and pressing the back for 15 seconds, so I do that as well. Once that's done, I remove the clear carrier sheet. I do that when it's still warm. Some vinyl, you have to do it as a cold peel, and it'll say that on the instructions. With that, you have to wait for it to completely cool down, otherwise it will not work. As I was removing it, I felt like a little part of the H was picking back up, so I decided to repress that just a little bit. I set my Teflon sheet on top and I pressed it for about 15 seconds. Like I said, the first time I did not use any firm pressure at all, and I definitely think that was the problem. Just a tip so that you know that your vinyl is adhered well, you want to see part of the shirt material through the vinyl, and that's how you know. If you have to repress it, if the vinyl is picking up, you don't want to do it for too long, otherwise it can kind of wrinkle the vinyl. Here's how my t-shirt turned out. I hope this video was helpful. Give it a thumbs up if it was. If you have any questions, then just let me know in the comment box below, and I would love it if you subscribed if you are new to my channel.